News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:03. I'm Bill Walter with this news update. A fire yesterday afternoon caused significant damage to a Logan home. The blaze was reported just after 3:30 p.m. near 150 South and 700 West in Logan. According to emergency radio traffic, a passerby saw the fire and called 911. Logan City Fire Marshal Craig Humphreys said when firefighters arrived on scene, flames and smoke were coming out of two bedroom windows of the home. They were able to enter the home and extinguish the fire quickly. The homeowner was at work at the time of the fire, and there were no other occupants except for a cat inside the home. Firefighters reported the cat ran outside as they made their entry. Humphreys said it appeared the fire spread from the bedroom into the attic. Since there was no one at home when the fire started, it will be up to investigators to determine exactly what sparked the blaze. Humphreys said destruction from the fire was significant. When you factor in smoke and water damage, an exact amount was still being determined. There were no injuries to firefighters. However, an ambulance that was en route to the fire was involved in a traffic accident at 600 East, 400 North. Logan City Police Lieutenant Brad Franke said 3 paramedics were on board and had minor injuries. They were taken to Logan Regional Hospital for evaluation and care. KBNU News Time is 4:04. KBNU weather for tonight, slight chance of rain after midnight, mostly cloudy, low in the upper 30s. 30% chance of rain mainly in the morning on Friday. Gradually becoming mostly sunny by afternoon. High temperature in the mid-50s, partly cloudy on Saturday. High temperature in the lower 60s. It's been to 58. It's 58 degrees right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Dr. Keith Nelson, board-certified orthopedic surgeon experienced in successful surgeries for sports medicine and arthritis. For arthritis, Dr. Nelson offers the Omnibotic knee replacement system that has a 97% patient satisfaction rate. Don't live with knee pain another day. There's no need to leave Logan for knee surgery. Dr. Nelson has over 27 years of experience. Visit drkeithnelsonortho.com. That's drkeithnelsonortho.com. KBNU News Time is 4:05. A man was fatally shot during a Utah officer-involved shooting while he was allegedly holding swords in his hands. Police with Unified Police responded to reports of a domestic violence dispute at a home in Midvale shortly before 11 o'clock Tuesday night. Upon arrival, police said the man was leaving the area in the direction of Cottonwood Heights. Police said in a news release the driver turned onto a dead-end street, got out of his car holding 2 swords, and advancing toward officers. Officers allegedly attempted to stop the man by using a taser device. While the attempt was not successful, the officer shot the man, then performed life-saving measures. Police said, though, the man was pronounced dead at the scene. The Salt Lake County District Attorney was notified following the incident, and the officer-involved critical incident protocol was activated. No officers were injured during the incident. However, they were placed on administrative leave per normal protocol. It remains unknown how many officers were involved during the incident. And Idaho Governor Brad Little has officially declared November Idaho Apprenticeship Month as part of an effort to promote diverse pathways to success for the state's youth. On Wednesday, the governor emphasized the importance of expanding opportunities beyond traditional 4-year college degrees, highlighting the value of apprenticeships where individuals learn on the job while earning wages and taking courses. Apprenticeships have seen significant success in Idaho, with over 2,400 apprentices currently participating and an impressive annual growth rate of 40% over the past 3 years. The state has invested more than $10 million in expanding registered apprenticeships over a span of 5 years. Governor Little also drew attention to the Idaho Launch Program, which has been expanded to offer high school seniors grants covering 80% of education or training program costs for careers in high demand, with a maximum cap of $8,000. The governor underscored the economic benefits of investing in a skilled workforce for Idaho's future competitiveness on a global scale. He aims to make the state a place where future generations choose to stay, emphasizing the importance of equipping them with the skills needed for lifelong learning and participation in the state's workforce. KVNU News Time is 4:08. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Not everyone has been in an accident, but everyone knows someone who has. If you or a loved one has been hurt in a car, truck, motorcycle, cycling, or pedestrian accident, call the Advocates today, now with offices in Cache Valley. The Advocates offer free consultations. Talk with an experienced attorney and let an advocate guide you through your case and take over the stress of phone calls with the insurance company so you can rest and get better. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate. Chat online at utahadvocates.com or call 801-355-5550.
I am one of over 40 million Americans with migraine. A migraine is not just a headache. A migraine attack can last for hours or even days, often with sensitivity to lights and sounds or nausea and vomiting. Thankfully, there is help for migraine. Learn more at headachemigraine.org. Now is the perfect time to find out if what you have may be migraine. Visit headachemigraine.org, sponsored by the Coalition for Headache and Migraine Patients.
I spent a couple of minutes online to help pay for college.
A quick visit online made getting this federal job possible.
I logged in to ease my path to citizenship.
If you're a man age 18 to 25, go to sss.gov to register with the Selective Service System. It's your civic duty, and it helps secure access to lifelong benefits.
I registered because, hey, it's what you do.
Go to sss.gov and register today. It's the law.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Thursday, November 2nd. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Coming up, we'll be spotlighting some of the kids from an upcoming Logan High School production. They're hoping to get the community out to some events. They'll be joining us here in the studio. Thanks to our friend Shelley Giddings for arranging this. That's coming up in hour 2 of today's show. Here in hour 1, it is Thursday. It's time for this week's episode of the For the People Theater Hour with Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. And Charlie, hello.
How you doing, Jason?
We talked a little bit about you getting somewhat of a break last weekend from your dance card calendar.
And I'm still getting one this week. Well, no. The Lyric is running selected shorts that we've talked about in the past, this on Saturday night.
I'm intrigued by this. I like the idea of short storytelling events.
Yeah, well, I'd like to, I've listened to some of these podcasts, primarily the ones that were doing horror and science fiction.
Yeah,
and they're well done.
I think it's a unique. It's not for everybody. That's a fair way to say it, I think.
Yes, that's true. It's a little highbrow.
Yeah, it's and it can get. I've seen, someone once said, it's like going to a TED Talk event, and I disagree. These are not they're not always stories meant to teach or provide a lesson. It's for entertainment,
Yeah.
But it's unique sometimes to see, because I think the challenge of telling stories in a shorter time frame, similar to written short stories, is just kind of
that's what that's what they're going to be reading is written short stories. So
that's I like that. I think that will be kind of a fun thing. And this, of course, is part of a whole recognition thing of UPR and their work and the footprint they bring to campus, of course. That's Saturday?
Yep.
Okay.
One night only.
That's right.
Tickets are 30% off too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'd like to get a decent sized audience for that event.
That is, and it's at the Eccles, so that's not going to sell out, but hopefully it's pretty packed. And then that's it until the 10th, right? Anastasia.
Anastasia, the opera. It's a musical being performed by the USU Opera Company.
That's going to be interesting. Those voices.
Oh yeah,
telling that story.
They were so good last year when they did Sweeney Todd.
That was made the hair on the back of your neck stand up a couple of times.
Yeah, that's true. It
did. It just there were a few scenes where the power of those voices gave you chills, which is always kind of a fun thing to experience. But we're officially into holiday season at this point. Well, the retail stores force us into it every year, but this is a question from a listener we got just after last week's show. And just to clarify this, so the It's a Wonderful Life production, they had heard that was going to be at the Eccles. That's at the Kane Lyric.
Yeah.
Not the Eccles.
Yeah.
In downtown, but the Kane Lyric Theater.
The Lyric Theater really wants to have the Kane open during the holiday season.
Yeah. That's because this is their time to shine, right?
Yeah. Last year, 2 years ago was the first time they did, Christmas Carol in 2021 and 2022.
Oh yeah.
This year they're going to vary that by going to It's a Wonderful Life. They're giving Dennis Hassan's puppets the year off.
That's they get a bit of a break for now.
For now,
that is that was still one of the most fun things to see. Is anyone doing? I forgot about that. Is anyone doing
a Christmas
Carol?
No.
Wow.
The Four Seasons is doing A Christmas Story.
Yeah, which will be fun.
Sure.
I'm surprised no one's doing A Christmas Carol. That's almost a...
Well,
Last year we had, 4 people doing it? That was 2.
We
I'm
had
exaggerating,
2.
Yeah. That's... it's fun, though, to see them shake it up a little bit. And as we discussed last week, Pickleville shaking it up, too, with what they're calling a reimagining of their presentation 2 years ago, 1 year ago. I don't remember now when they did the North Pole Christmas.
2 years ago. It's a story that T.J. Davis, of course, wrote and directed, and it's hard to describe.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
That's I think
without letting the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, without giving away the because it's when they say reimagining, I'm assuming what that means is they're stealing some from that show, or at least maybe there will be similar characters or character names.
I think they might be adding dance numbers and that kind of stuff, and bigger cast.
So that makes sense.
Whatever.
That is very cool.
You can, put your faith in TJ that he's going to deliver an entertaining show, and he will.
Yeah, it won't be a bad show.
No, of course not.
And that was, I think, one of their biggest hits a couple of years ago when they did that North Pole Christmas.
It was well attended.
I remember seeing the crowd walking, driving past the theater. I remember seeing the crowd waiting to get in, and it went around the block.
And I think they only did it 2 nights here back in 2021, and they're going to have it 3 nights this year.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I missed that. 3 nights. And then are they touring this? Do you know? They're taking this to Salt Lake too.
Well, they're going to Idaho Falls, which is a new venue for them, and then they're going down to, I believe they're going to be at the Eccles in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
No, it's probably not the Eccles. It's probably another theater. I'll check. A couple nights in Idaho Falls, a couple nights in Salt Lake City, and then they come to us on the 22nd and 23rd, I believe.
Okay. That's interesting. Idaho Falls, I'm curious to see how that goes for them. Because that's an area where they are complete unknowns at this point, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it'll be interesting to see how that flies.
It's December 21, Thursday, December 21, 22, and 23, running till Saturday.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Very nice. There you have a little bit of a preview, and appreciate the listener sending that question in. I'm not sure where that went around, but the listener said, I want to correct you guys. It's a Wonderful Life is playing at the Eccles, and it is actually
at the
Cane Lyric as their big opener for their season. So 753-5868 if you'd like to join us. The Theater Hour with Charlie Schill continues right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Nelson, board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon, and I want to restore your active, pain-free life. I've been an innovator in the treatment of knee pain caused by arthritis and sports injuries for 27 years. I'm the only surgeon in northern Utah to offer Omnibotics, a robotic-assisted knee replacement for your arthritic knee, which has a 97% patient satisfaction rate. Don't live with your knee pain another day. Visit drkeithnelsonortho.com. That's drkeithnelsonortho.com.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Charlie Schill here in the studio for our For the People Theater Hour. If you'd like to join us, 753-5868. And what else have you been up to?
Well, there's the one that got away. During October, the national touring company of My Fair Lady was renting facilities at the DeSante building from Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater. They're going to be performing My Fair Lady, all over the West, definitely. And a few places east of the Mississippi, but primarily out here. God, I wanted to do a story about that, and their front office, this Crossroads Live North America, is the producer of their tour, and they simply refused to let me talk to their cast.
Really?
Yeah, I think they had the impression that we're this benighted community, and if people found out about this event happening or this rehearsal happening, that we would mob the place and they wouldn't have time to rehearse. Come on, give me a break.
That's, I mean, I guess.
Anyway,
but
so I
unlikely.
I was sworn to secrecy while they were here. They're going off to Boise, Idaho to do a one-night stand on the 8th. And then they'll be back in Salt Lake City performing at the Eccles, the George S. and Dolores Story Eccles Theater in Salt Lake City. And they're going to be there November 12th to 18th.
Okay.
So,
that's
if you want to see them, you get your tickets from the Eccles. But, I kind of feel slighted.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Me and Gary Griffin were just trying to jump through hoops with these people.
Interesting.
And they simply refused to let us get anywhere near their cast. So
that is interesting. That's, I think there's got to be. That's a bad way to go about it.
Well,
I'll just put it that way. That's bad PR.
It was good news for the UFOMT. The Festival Opera has never done anything like that before. Rented out their facilities for a touring company. Economically, it must have made a hell of a lot of sense. To be here, to rent rooms, to rent facilities here, as opposed to anywhere on the East Coast where room rates and rental facilities are just sky high.
Yeah.
So, if the Festival Opera is hoping that other touring shows will look into this and think, hey, that's a good idea. Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a neat deal.
As a touring show, that could be really fun.
Yep.
That's and they've never done anything like that before.
No. And they were here from, the cast actually arrived like the 11th of October.
Oh, really?
I think the
That
crew.
long ago.
I think the crew was here a little earlier than that. And they set up all their gear and they rehearsed for several weeks, and
wow,
out they go.
That's pretty amazing, actually. It would really be fun to see that side of things. I'd like to see someone make you see these. I've really enjoyed them. HBO does these.
Making of.
Yeah, they do documentaries of like an NFL team, or they did an NHL team once. And they just follow them for a season. I'd like to see someone do that with a touring company, mainly so people get an idea of the work that goes into it. This was fascinating to me. Speaking of tours, someone explained to me, and I had never thought about this, but they rehearse. I guess I'd assumed, they rehearse, they get ready to go, and then they go out on the road. But someone explained to me, and I'm sure you knew this, but they have to rehearse at each venue, because every venue is a bit different.
Well, yeah,
and so they actually do several rehearsals for each location.
Probably what normally happens is they have particular standards for each venue they go to. If you're going to perform in Salt Lake City or you're going to perform in Denver, they have to know that they have a theater that's, the stage is so many feet wide and so many feet deep and has these flies and all that other kind of stuff. Now, when you're going to get there, when you arrive there, it's going to turn out that there are other things you have to adjust to.
Sure.
But, yeah.
That's interesting.
That's half the trick with a touring show. You've got to be very, very flexible.
Sure.
With a Broadway production, they pretty well lock it down, and it stays that way.
Yeah.
For as long as the run goes.
And I'm sure with a Broadway production, they can say to the theater, here's what it needs to be set up like when we get there, to some extent.
I think the producers, end up having to adjust to make sure. But once everything's set and they're ready to open, they lock it down. It doesn't change.
That makes sense. Yeah, I never thought about that because I knew, things like, in certain productions, being on certain physical marks at a certain time is very important. And if the stage is 10 feet wider than the last one, you would have to rehearse that.
But, a show like My Fair Lady is fairly static.
Makes sense.
If you were doing The Wizard of Oz and you had to fly, or you were doing Peter Pan and you had to fly,
set dependent kind of things.
You've got real problems dealing with the mechanics up in the rafters and all that kind of stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'd never thought about that. One of the challenges of being a part of a touring company, those different venues and different theater sizes. So, and if you've never seen My Fair Lady, that's a fun one, I think.
Yeah.
So, that's a fun one. It's one of the classics that doesn't get as much attention as I think it should, but it's older, I know, but it's not dated, really. I guess to some extent.
When I was in high school, the drama club at our high school was incorporated to protect the high school from being sued or anything like that. So we got the first rights to perform My Fair Lady off Broadway. And we're all set to go. Costumes, set, all that. Mostly rented. And the booking agency realizes we're high school kids. And they say, "Oh no, you can't do it."
Really?
Oh, it's a week before. Oh no, you can't do it. So we went ahead and did it.
Yeah, what are they going to do, right?
They sued us.
Really?
Yes. And they took every cent we made.
Oh, no. Worth it, though, probably.
It was an experience.
Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio for the People Theater Hour. You're welcome to join us as well, 753-5868. Now a quick look at the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KBNU News Time is 4:31, and this look at the news brought to you by Logan Extermination. Judging by recent scores on the Scholastic Assessment Test, Utah is producing some of the best prepared students for college in the nation. Utah is ranked fourth in the United States in terms of average SAT scores, according to a nationwide study by NutroEdge, which advocates for the use of pharmaceutical cognitive-enhancing drugs. That study found that Wisconsin was producing the best prepared college students with an average score of 1,252 out of 1,600 on the SAT. Wyoming and Kansas ranked second and third, with Utah not far behind with an average score of 1,233. Most colleges in the Utah system of higher education offer open admission, but SAT or the equivalent American College Test, ACT scores, are used in awarding scholarships, so many students submit with their applications. More than 8,000 Utah students completed the SAT or preparatory assessment in the 2021-22 school year, measuring their readiness for college-level work. Federal investigators say they found no evidence of a mechanical failure before an October 1st plane crash that killed a North Dakota state senator, his wife, and their 2 young children. The NTSB released its preliminary report into the crash today. State Senator Doug Larson, his wife Amy, and sons Christian and Everett had stopped to refuel near Moab while returning home from a family gathering in Arizona. Doug Larson was piloting the small plane when it crashed near Moab. Larson was a 29-year member of the North Dakota Army National Guard and flew Black Hawk helicopters. He had recently earned his commercial pilot's license with hopes of one day flying for a major airline. A 63-year-old Utah woman had a leg amputated after being attacked by her son's dogs in her own backyard in a Salt Lake City suburb. Police in Taylorsville say the injured woman called 911 on Tuesday while still in her yard with the adult male and female dogs and their 5 puppies. All 7 were pit bulls. Police used pepper spray against the dogs to be able to get over a fence and help the woman. They shot the adult female dog after it got loose and threatened officers. The owner of the dog surrendered the animals to authorities. Police did not name the dog owner or his mother. KVNU News Time is 4:34.
Even though the weather's grown colder, you still have time to have your fruit trees pruned. Logan Extermination says your trees need to be trimmed back in order to achieve success next year. And this is the first step to a bountiful harvest. However, you could do more bad than good if you don't know what you're doing. Save the headache and call Logan Extermination today and get a jump on tree pruning. Prices will vary depending on your needs. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
KVNU weather for...
The House passed a GOP-led bill which provides $14 billion in aid to Israel, but it does not include help for Ukraine. The White House suggests Israel okayed a temporary pause in the war with Hamas to get 2 American hostages released last month.
We're really not just talking about like one pause. What we're trying to do is explore the idea of as many pauses as might be necessary to continue to get aid out and to continue to work to get people out safely, including hostages.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. More than a dozen people were injured when construction workers struck a gas line in Wappingers Falls, New York, causing a home explosion. More charges for a Pennsylvania nurse accused of killing 2 patients by injecting them with excessive amounts of insulin. Eric Trump testified in his father's civil fraud trial, swore he was never involved with statements prosecutors say show the former president overvalued his assets. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
And now KVNU weather for tonight. Slight chance of rain after midnight, mostly cloudy, low in the upper 30s. And then Friday, 30% chance of rain, mainly in the morning. Cloudy, then becoming mostly sunny, high temperature in the mid-50s. Partly sunny skies into the lower 60s on Saturday. We've been to 58. It's 58 degrees right now at KVNU. Hey, make sure to stop into the Logan location of Mount Logan Laundry. See the huge new washers and dryers. So many more to serve you and get you in and out more quickly. Mount Logan Laundry in Logan and Brigham City. You can always get more news at CashValleyDaily.com. Let's get a business update now, brought to you by Edward Jones.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks jumped a day after better than expected news from the Fed. The Dow soared 565 points. The Nasdaq closed up 234, and the S&P added 79. Investors hoping the Federal Reserve may finally be done with its market-rattling interest rate hikes were in the mood to buy. Markets worldwide also leaped after the central bank decided to leave interest rates alone after their second straight meeting. That's something that we haven't seen it do in years. Chair Jerome Powell also hinting that a recent jump in Treasury yields may be acting in the same way that interest rate increases have and are putting the brakes on inflation. The number of Americans who applied for jobless benefits inched up last week, but overall remains low by historical standards. First-time claims rose by 5,000 to 217,000. The Labor Department will release the October jobs numbers on Friday. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Saturday, Utah State football travels to San Diego to face the Aztecs. The Aggies are looking to bounce back and make a statement.
We got to pull together and really care about each other enough to keep working and get better, and we can.
Pre-game begins at 3. Kickoff is at 5. And post-game and Aggie call immediately follows the game. It's the Aggies and the Aztecs. Saturday on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People Theater Hour with Charlie Schill, our guest here in the studio. And you're welcome to join us, 753-5868, if you'd like to chime in on any and all things theater, arts, entertainment. Did you go? I didn't make it. Did you go to the big pumpkin festival last Saturday? In downtown.
You mean the Halloween festival?
Or sorry, yeah, Halloween festival, and
sure.
The dancing witches and more. That was crowded. I just drove past, but I saw the crowd out there, and it was 11 degrees. It wasn't that cold, but it was pretty.
That cold,
it was chilly.
It was chilly. There's no question about it.
But it didn't hold people back.
Nope. There were lots of people down there, and it was a good event.
That is perfect. Showing off, what downtown can be used for. I'm all about it. But that doesn't fall into the realm of theater, but it does.
No, I think it does.
It had a performative nature to it. I think
the witches did their thing, and it was pretty spectacular.
They rehearsed too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where they rehearse. I tried to find out because I really would like to know where they rehearse. I think that would be fun to see. But none of them would blab.
A few years ago, they used to rehearse outdoors when the weather was nice.
Yeah. That was... And I remember one year they were donated space at the Whittier Center to rehearse as well. But... I'm not sure they were doing it this year, but I'd like to see that. But they don't want you to see them without the costumes on.
No,
I was told.
Of course not.
It's part of the secret. So
there were some dazzling costumes.
Oh, they put a lot of effort into them, and they had like a little light show too this year. I saw them walking to the downtown. That's what reminded me this was all going on.
They all have their broomsticks and staffs are all lit up.
Yeah.
And the nice thing this year is they went out into the audience and got kids and pulled them onto the street and danced with them.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I honestly, just an entertaining thing. And the fact that this came about organically, this was, no one ever sat out and said, we need to, this needs to be an annual tradition. It just kind of started happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just got bigger and bigger, and now it's actually a build event.
And what they used to do, these were ladies who lived in the neighborhood of Center Street, east or west of the downtown area.
Yeah.
They used to get into the middle of the street on Center Street, do their thing in the residential neighborhoods, and then they'd clear off and let the traffic flow, and then they'd go back.
It's so great. Honestly, it's one of the coolest things, and it to have it be so again,
well supported.
Yeah, community supported. And on top of this, and then some of the pumpkins, man, or some of the costumes. I don't know where pumpkin keeps coming from. Some of the costumes, the work that they put into them, but And they did, 3 performances Saturday night?
They did it at 6:37 and 7:30, I think.
That's funny. Yeah, very cool stuff. And then Rocky Horror Picture Show, they did one at midnight at the Utah. I gave them a call Wednesday. I was just curious, if it was a cleanup. They said, not that bad this year. So people were a little demure, I guess. But they had a decent crowd show up. And they said it was, they think close to 50 people were there, which for midnight on a Tuesday, that's a really decent crowd.
Sure.
So too late for me. I thought about it, but I can't do 2 a.m. anymore. Getting out at 2 a.m. and headed home. The Utah's doing something else, right? For their for the oh, that's right, the Pirate Film Festival.
The Pirate Film Festival. Yes,
this is a cool idea. I'm struggling to find the angle on this. Is it just something they hadn't done before?
They searched, like last year, I think they did a John Wayne film festival for his birthday. Having themes for movies for a month, it really works out cool.
I like it because it gives them an opportunity to really, go into the catalog. Well, yeah, because there were a few John Wayne films that I don't think I'd even seen that aired during that festival that I'd only heard of because they aren't repeated on TV.
During the 1940s and 50s, pirate movies were a part of a Hollywood staple.
Yeah. Just like Westerns, right?
Well, and what happened? And a lot of them were B movies. They ran second feature in a double feature. You'd see, I don't know. In 1960, you'd see The Magnificent Seven as the top bill, and then there'd be some, John Payne pirate flick.
Yeah,
that was the second. They've really got a lot of interesting shows. Last night they opened with Treasure Island, the 1950 version from Walt Disney Studios. That was their first live action movie, and that was the start of. Pretty soon you saw those kind of films moving over to Walt Disney Presents on Sunday nights. You remember that?
I do remember that.
On television.
And I remember seeing Treasure Island as part of a Walt Disney Presents.
And then there was...
And that's when I fell in love with the pirate movie.
There was all the Davy Crockett movies and all that kind of stuff.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Yep.
That was another one.
El Fago Baca.
Yeah.
What was it? The one about the smugglers in England, the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
that horrifying movie they did. It was one of the scariest movies Disney ever did. Watcher in the Woods. Is that the name of it? I saw that as a Sunday night Disney special too. Gave me nightmares.
Anyway, Treasure Island will be played again at the Utah on Saturday night.
Okay.
The following Monday and Wednesday, they're going to do Goonies.
I love this.
Sure, it's a pirate treasure movie.
Yeah, including a pirate ship.
Yeah,
just in a very, very different way than is traditionally done in pirate movies. But it is a pirate movie.
Yeah,
and a treasure hunt movie, and it's fun.
One of those old, and it's directed by Richard Donner, and it was written by Chris Columbus. And Steven Spielberg did the original story for it, so it's got a lot of talent behind it.
And it's become a cult classic, to say the least.
Sure.
I'm excited for that one.
Then on Friday and Saturday, we get to, and of course we're going to do Pirates of the Caribbean, which is the original Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah, and the best of the went on too long.
The best of
series.
I guess there were 5 movies.
Yeah, I forgot there were 5. There shouldn't have been 5. They should have stopped at 3 at least. But yeah.
Well, they're going to show the first 3 on succeeding weekends.
Oh, that's see, they were smart to stop at 3, unlike Disney. That's very cool.
And then you got Peter Pan. You got to have Peter Pan because, first of all, it's an animated movie and you need to break things up a little.
Sure, and have one for the kids.
Sure. And, it's a pirate movie. It's got Captain Hook.
It is a pirate movie, and in fact, that's I think for a lot of kids that was Peter Pan was their first exposure to the pirate thing.
Sure. And then on the following Wednesday, you've got the Crimson Pirate.
Oh, now this is one I'm excited about. This is I have not seen this.
You haven't?
I have never seen it.
Oh my! It's gorgeous. It's just so colorful.
I've often been told it is one of the best pirate movies to see.
It's very tongue in cheek. I mean, there's submarines and there's all kinds of garbage, but it's never quite as cheesy as the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, honestly, I've been told by many people that this is one you have to see, and I've never had a chance.
And Burt Lancaster is at his peak. He's doing his acrobatics. It's got Nick Cravat in it. It's a great movie.
That is very cool. This is, and that is from the early 60s? No.
50s.
The 50s, okay.
Yeah, 54, I think.
Yeah. This
53,
is
something like that.
Eva Bartok. That's the name. That it was a discussion in a acting class, actually. And they talked about the Crimson Pirate and her career, and so I'm excited for that. That's
I think Eva Bartok. I think it was the only movie Eva Bartok made.
Never. She became like this for a time, at least. This cultural icon. She was a household name, but that was it. She did this and nothing else. and that was the discussion: is how did she become so well known, at least for a couple of years, and then she, of course, disappeared into obscurity. But
okay,
that's mid-November. What we're up to, right?
Wednesday, the 15th.
The 15th, okay.
And then on Friday and Saturday, the November 17th and 18th, we get back to Johnny Depp and we do Dead Man's Chest, which is the second movie in the 5-part series. And Johnny is kind of getting tired with his own shtick.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell.
There's still a lot of good stuff in this movie.
Yeah. It was a fun one.
Following that, on the next Wednesday, you've got, it's Monday, I think. You've got The Muppet Treasure Island.
That's also a fun one.
Yeah. And this is this is as usual. It's got the live action players mixed with the furry Muppets.
Yeah.
The Muppets do all the wisecracks. About the only person really worth watching in it is Tim Curry as Long John Silver.
And anytime you get a chance to see Tim Curry as the
do
bad guy,
anything, yes.
Yeah, he is such a
Jump
great bad guy. That's I that's one of my favorite of the Muppets movies.
And then on Wednesday, on the 22nd, Captain Blood.
Oh, okay.
Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland, their first movie together.
That is
terrific old movie, and if they've got a restored copy of it, it'll be worth seeing.
That is, and then you wrote I read your Cash Valley Daily piece on this earlier. You said you'll learn a little bit of history in this one too.
Well,
in an entertaining way.
He gets shipped to the Caribbean as a slave for treating soldiers who were wounded in the English Civil War in 1648.
Okay.
That's
very...
The English Civil War is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to go on about that, but nobody cares about it but me.
Weird historical event.
Well, hey, let's have a civil war, and when it's over, let's talk to the king about being a nice guy, and if the king isn't a nice guy, we'll cut his head off.
Yeah, it was a very not so veiled threat that existed after that, and for better or worse, very funny.
Well, Oliver Cromwell became the Lord Protector of England for 8 years after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. That is
that was the only time England has ever been ruled by a dictatorship.
Yeah, for a brief period of time, and it almost didn't end.
Well, that's why the Puritans all came to America.
They gave up.
They lost their happy home.
Yeah, it's and all of this wrapped up in a pirate movie. Best way to learn history.
Okay. And on Friday, November 24th, you got Pirates of the Caribbean again at the World's End.
Part 3,
Part
right?
3. And, it's not worth going to Part 4 or 5, thank God.
Yeah.
We're not going back there anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad they stopped at 3.
But what's really good is this film festival ends with Hook. The Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman.
A really underrated film.
Oh, but it's so good.
It is really good. It has great people in it, and it's done in a way that, it's a really good film, and for some reason it was not a huge hit.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Even Spielberg admitted it. It was Steven Spielberg's entry into the pirate film deal.
Yeah. But man, just for Dustin Hoffman as Hook alone.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're seeing.
He eats up the scenery like mad.
Really, really fun to watch. And you can tell he's having fun with it, too. And
the festival ends with Captain Phillips, which is the fact-based story about the Somali pirates taking over your ship with Tom Hanks.
This is the movie that made Bill sick. Do you remember that, Bill? You got, you got vertigo when you went to see this.
I just... but 10 minutes into it, I said, my stomach doesn't feel so good. And I just figured, I don't think this movie, which is... Because they used a handheld camera on a ship that was really in the water, and I just thought, I don't think this is going to get much better for me.
A little too much movement for you on the,
But to their credit, they refunded my money.
That was
nice. And well, what they did is they gave me a card for a future movie that I could see.
Yeah, I remember talking to Bill when he came back from seeing this and said, I didn't make it. I made it only about 10 minutes, and it was I couldn't do it. It was making me seasick.
And I had to text. I was there with a whole bunch of people. I had to text them, and in case they were worried. I don't think they even noticed I was gone, but I did anyway, just to let everybody know I'd gone home to lie down.
I'm not coming back. Very cool. So that Captain Phillips wraps up the Pirate Film Festival on the 29th of November, a month-long series of pirate films at the Utah Theater, all of them at 7 p.m. There at the Utah Theater on Center Street. And I'm excited to catch a few of these. Hopefully you are too. Stick with us. We'll be back right after this.
Is it time to upgrade or transform your dining area? Stop in and browse U&I Furniture's big selection of dining sets. U&I just picked up a spectacular assortment from different brand name manufacturers. They have small tables for 2 up to a big table for all family gatherings. U&I has lots of options, some with benches and swivel stools. And make sure you check out the chairs U&I has. Accent chairs, recliners, upholstered chairs, and more. There really is always a better buy at U&I. U&I Furniture in downtown Logan.
The Cache Valley Media Group Logan Holiday Gift Show is presented by Coppins Hallmark. This Friday and Saturday at the Riverwoods Conference Center, plan on kicking off your holiday shopping with unique and fun ideas for the entire family. Clothing, books, jewelry, purses, home and holiday decor, baby items, and don't miss everyone's favorite guest, Santa. The Logan Holiday Gift Show, presented by Coppins Hallmark, is Friday and Saturday at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Start your holiday shopping off right.
2 minutes left, Charlie. What's coming up next week? Your pause ends, I know. You're back to being busy.
Yeah.
But we have, I have lost track of the dates.
So,
Anastasia.
Anastasia is next week. The following week is the 18th is the Snow White Ballet by the Kirov Ballet Company. The 24th is, of course, the Nutcracker by our own Civic Ballet.
Yeah, always a big event.
And on the 30th, we've got the river dance thing, Rhythm of Dance.
At the Eccles.
Yeah.
That's
Irish dancers.
It's a pretty packed month. So
yep, and that's before we get into all the Christmas stuff.
That's right. At which point, Charlie's dance card is doubly filled. So plenty to talk about. Hope you'll join us next week for another episode of the For the People Theater Hour with Charlie Schill. Until then, you can read Charlie's work, reviews, and more at CacheValleyDaily.com. And we'll be back with Hour 2 of today's show right after this here on KVNU Logan.
State Aggie fans, KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM, covering Aggie football like no one else does.